Hello and welcome to the Solid Sports and Gaming channel. You're watching the Solid Sports video blog, the SSVB, episode 108. And today's date is January 4th, 2020. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Troy West saying thank you. Thank you for all the support throughout my break. But I'm officially back. This is my big announcement. I'm back. I'll be doing blogs once a week, once again, which I was doing in the past, and hopefully I won't have to take a break again. I'll talk more about that in the video, give my thanks and to people that's been supporting me even when I was out. You know, my subscribers grew a little bit, so I appreciate all the support even though I was missing in action for a while. Just had to clear my head, get myself together, but I decided, not no New Year's resolution thing, which I don't really believe in, but just something clicked in my brain that I need to hold on to things that are positive in my life, and this was one of them. So I think it was a good idea to start the channel back up again. So I've been having new content, and I'll talk more about that at the end of the video as well. But let's get on to the sports, as this week was interesting. I'm gonna touch a little bit on the Major League Baseball's off season, but like I said, I haven't been on regularly for a while. So I'll talk about some of the off-season moves that's happened in the Major League Baseball. And also congratulate the Washington Nationals for winning the World Series. Now been over 2 months ago. So I give my thanks to my congrats to them. Talk about the NBA. Everybody heard about the passing of David Stern this week, the former commissioner of the NBA. I'll give my thoughts on that. And a few early season surprises in the NBA. We'll take a look at the East and the Western Conference. And of course, it's NFL Wildcard Weekend. It starts this afternoon with the Bills and the Houston Texans kicking it off at 4:30. I'll give you my predictions for all 4 games for the weekend. And if you want to know all my predictions, I will have it in the check the icon, info icon in the top of the screen. I have the link to my episode I did this week previewing the NFL playoffs that I have all my predictions, but I give you my predictions for just this week, and just touch on a few other things. LSU Clemson in about a week from now for the national championship and other things. So just hang out with me throughout this whole video. It shouldn't take me too long to get by it, but let's go ahead and get the baseball out the way. Of course, a lot of people I know are not baseball fans, so I always like to do the baseball first to get it out the way. Just some quick thoughts. Well, I guess let's start with the Nationals first, since that happened back in October, Fall Classic. A good World Series, 7 games. They beat the Houston Astros, who of course now is in the news. Well, it's kind of died down, but it's been in the news for cheating. But that's a whole other thing. But the Nationals won the first time in any 7-game series in American sports history that the road team won every game. Nationals won all 4 games in Houston, but they got swept at home in Washington. And, you know, got back to Houston for Game 6. Everybody was a little nervous, but they was able to get it done. Juan Soto came with some big hits. Anthony Rendon, who's now Anaheim Angel, well, LA Angel, got a big contract in the offseason. That's one of the big moves that we're going to talk about in a little bit. But I just wanted to give my formal congratulations to the Washington Nationals. I don't think I picked them to make the playoffs. Maybe to be a contender for a wild card spot, but they won the National League East. No, actually, they was a wild card team. My Braves won in the East again, so that's mine clear on me. They won the wild card game, which they was losing to Milwaukee. Milwaukee was my National League pick to come out to make the World Series. I did have the Astros making it in the American League, but I thought the Astros would win this series. Nationals proved me wrong again. Steven Strasburg, he got a contract. Max Scherzer to be still the best pitcher in baseball, hands down. Strasburg won MVP of the World Series. Well deserving. So congratulations to the Washington Nationals. Then I can't see why they can't do it again. Got pretty much the same team other than losing Rendon. That's a big loss. But they're going to challenge my Braves for that division. I'm still confident in my Atlanta Braves. They're young. They're going to be around for a while. Pitcher just has to get better. Starting pitcher and also the bullpen. I think the pitching for the Braves has to get better. They're going to really take that next step. And they lost in the first round again. Congratulations to the Washington Nationals, and they're your World Series champions for 2019. So get that out the way. Like I said, some of the offensive news, one of the big ones. Garrett Cole, of course, former Astro. A lot of Astros are leaving. I think somebody else, a reliever, signed somewhere else. Went to the Nationals actually. So a lot of the Astros, a lot of the guys that was free agents, they left. So makes me think maybe it was a little something wrong going on in Houston. But anyway, Garrett Cole, he signed with the Yankees, so now everybody's picking the Yankees to make the World Series. And I can't argue with that much. If he pitched the way he normally pitches. But then you know pressure gets to you, so we'll see if he still maintain his dominance. But with him, Luis Severino, and Tanaka, I think CC Sabathia will retire, but they're not three bad starting pitchers. And then the Yankees go to score runs with all the hitters they got. Encarnacion is gone. He's signed with the White Sox. White Sox doing some things behind the scenes as well. Signed a few people. So to me, that's my sleeper team for next season. Which is not that far away. About 2 months we'll be talking about baseball. So, but just wanted to get baseball out the way. Like I said, I haven't been on in a while. Mainly talk about NBA and NFL a lot because they're the two most popular sports easily. Congratulations to the Nationals, and a lot of big moves being made. Magic Baumgartner went to the Arizona Diamondbacks, which was kind of surprising to me that he went there. But him and Zach Greinke got traded to the Astros, so he's not there anymore. But I was like, say him and Zach Greinke would be a good combination. But the Diamondbacks have been competitive the last few years. But that was a little bit of shock. I thought he might go to a bigger market, like the Yankees or somewhere else. Like I said, still 2 months to go to the season. Really starts to spring training starts. Well, about a month from spring training, really. Spring training starts in like mid-February, late February. Then they start playing exhibition games at like the beginning of March. So that's not really too far away if you think about it. So, but that's it with the baseball talk. Just with the congratulations to the Nationals. Still a lot of free agent signings to go. Like I said, we got 2 months to go really till the season starts. So, so let's just move on to the NBA. I'm gonna touch on the David Stern thing first. I'm not gonna be long with this either. I didn't like I knew David Stern personally, but I do remember him being the commissioner of the NBA for a long time. They say he started in 1984, so that's way before my time. I was born in '83, so I was only 1 year old. But that was during the during the '80s is when Bird and Magic pretty much lifted the NBA, and then Michael Jordan lifted it to even a higher height. And then I think David Stern has a lot to do with lifting it even higher. Of course, he dealt with some bumps in the road. He expanded the league. I think somebody said it was when he started, it was only 26 teams. I think it got to 30 because it was. I know off the top of my head, the Magic and the Heat came in the league about 88, 89, I believe. And I know definitely about the Raptors and the Grizzlies. They came in 96, I believe, was when they started. Of course, Grizzlies being originally in Vancouver, then they moved to Memphis later on. And the Toronto Raptors was just won the championship last year. Got their first title. I think they started together for sure. I know that for sure. But I think the Heat and the Magic started together too. But I think it's some other teams out there that might have started since he's been there, expanded. And well, they did good things, but some bad times. The Palace of Auburn Hills, the Mally and the Palace, with the Pacers and the Pistons. And Stern, this is a perfect name for him because he was Stern when he disciplined. He had it out disciplined. Of course, suspended Ron Artest for the year for his actions, even though some people, even said today that they thought it was too much because he was mainly just defending himself. Steven Jackson, his role in it. And people said that ruined the Pacers for a while because, Pacers was one of the top teams in the NBA before that happened. This happened earlier in the season. This probably happened like 2 weeks into the season, I believe. And pretty much Reggie Miller, I think he was still playing. I think he was on the verge of retiring. But they had a chance to win the championship. I think Detroit wound up winning the championship that year. I think that it happened, or either the year or close around that time. Detroit had won. They beat the Lakers in the finals. But and then the Donaghy situation. There probably two negative things that happened on his watch. But David Stern, he put in a dress code thing. That was famous. He was famous for that as well. But just look at the way the league is now. He definitely got a lot to do with it. I didn't know that he just stepped away in 2014. I thought he stepped away about, I would have say, closer to 2010, 2009. But he only been out for what, 5-6 years. Say like Adam Silver been there forever. But David Stern, he did a great job. I know the NBA is hurting. It's a big loss. He was a big part of the league. He's the reason why the league is today. I think he has a lot to do with also the. I know back before NBA was alive on the TV like it is now. Well, all sports is live now, but a lot of sports was on tape delay, and he pushed the NBA to not to get the tape delay. He's internationally. Yeah, I'm not saying he got a lot to do with Yao Ming coming here, but Yao Ming coming here, playing games overseas. Yeah, you hear all about that now. And Adam Silver has done a great job as well, but David Stern pretty much set the foundation. So, big loss for the NBA. And when I, hear about, passings and stuff, it kind of makes me feel old. I'm 36 years old. And, I love the NBA ever since I was a little kid, He was the commissioner for a long time. So, my condolences, and also, just make you stop and think about life sometimes when, even though he was sick for a while, I think he was hospitalized earlier this year, I think in the summer sometime, so he was in and out the hospital lately, but, it's still, it don't matter when somebody passes away. It's just, it's hard to deal with. In the NBA, I think they're going to wear the little black stripe on the uniforms for the rest of the season, rightfully so. And like I said, I imagine they're going to do something big for him at the All-Star game as well. Probably a big tribute or something. I'd be shocked if they didn't. So, but rest in peace, David Stern, and I thank you. The NBA is much better than it's better than it even was. People thought it was going to fall off when Jordan retired, and it probably did to an extent. But LeBron James, coming into the league, he's pretty much held the torch. After Jordan, even though it was Kobe Bryant, also was a big attraction. But I think LeBron James has been like the guy, the face of the league, because it was Magic and Bird in the 80s. Then Mike took it over in the 90s, in the early 2000s. Then LeBron got drafted with 2003, 2004. He's pretty much been the face of the league ever since. And like I said, David Stern was there for all that. So, so NBA lost a big, somebody big, New Year's Day. He died on New Year's Day. So, just make me feel old, but that's happy. Get the mood back happy again. Early season surprises. Wrote down a few notes. I think in the Western Conference, I'm gonna start the West because the West, I guess it's one negative and one positive. I guess the positive one is the Dallas Mavericks. Even though the Dallas Mavericks, they showed Luka Doncic showed flashes last year. And honestly, like I said, I'm one of the types you gotta show me, keep showing me. Last year I was like, okay, they already, once he started coming on, they was already out of the playoffs, things of that nature. But Dallas is what, 4th in the West, and he's averaging almost 30 a game, basically almost a triple-double as well. So Luka picked it up where he left off. But it just looks so awkward the way he played. You know, he looks. I mean, kind of remind me of, you know, people compare him to LeBron because of the triple doubles. They compare him to this person, that person. Magic Johnson, stuff like that, because he could pass the ball and all that. But he still remind me of Dirk, because Dirk Nowitzki was one of my favorite players. I was a Mavs fan for a while. Not saying I mean, I still like the Mavericks, but I was a fan because I used to like Michael Finley back in the 90s. It was the whole thing, kind of more rebellious. I mean, I love Michael Jordan. You know, I was a Michael Jordan fan, but I just wanted to be a little different. And I think Michael Finley didn't get a lot of credit. You know, Michael Jordan was dominating the league. A lot of other players wasn't getting a lot of credit. So I used to like Michael Finley. I like this game. I like that he was a Showtime dunker. But he also scored a basketball. He expanded his game after that. But anyway, that's why I was a Mavs fan for a while. Then I kind of liked the Dirk Nowitzki, you know. It's just so smooth, but it's slow. Like, it just seems so slow. Like, you know. But that's how Lucas seemed. Like, he just make a little move, and it seemed like he just gets by you. It just seemed like he just have a burst of speed all of a sudden. It's just, everything just seems so smooth and so slow. But I'm saying it in a positive way. Like, it's just amazing to watch. And I probably watched about 2 or 3 times this year. But Dallas as a team, you know, I didn't think they was gonna here you go, this thing again. I didn't think you know, they was gonna be good. I thought they was gonna sort of like squeak in the play. I mean, it's still early in the season, but they right up there competing in the Western Conference, so that's a surprise. Now the negative surprise, I guess I'm gonna have to do one in the East too. But the negative surprise is for the Trailblazers. I thought they'd be a little bit better off than they is now. They picked up Carmelo Anthony, which I think has been a boost for them. But Dame Dollar, well, he just had a big game last night, but it was against the Knicks. So I'm not saying that it don't matter, but and they still right there for a playoff spot, but they just 4 games under 500 or something like that, for like 14 and 18 or something like that. But I just thought they'd be a little bit better off at this point. But in the East, I guess Miami, the Miami Heat. They say like they just keep winning. I mean, they got Jimmy Butler. That was a big pickup, and I sort of keep forgetting that he's there. But still, you know, other than him, you know, they got just a bunch of guys. You know, Goran Dragic is good. I like Tyler Hero, Justice Winslow. They got a lot of good pieces there in Miami. But, you know, you wouldn't expect them to be competing. I think they about 4th in the West. Indiana always surprises me too, because I can't name 3 people on that team, and they still continue to win as well. So, I guess negatively, I'm gonna just throw Philly out there, because Philly been a little bit disappointed me. They had a big win against Milwaukee on Christmas Day, and everybody sort of quiet down. But they just lost last night, I think, or the other night to got blown out. I think who beat them? I think they lost to Orlando, and Orlando's a good team. Orlando was a playoff team last year, but say like Philadelphia, to me, it's just. Oh, maybe because they've been a playoff. Like, this is an excuse I heard. It might be a legitimate excuse, because teams does it. They just bored. Like, they need to play real meaningful games. So they're not gonna see when they beat Milwaukee. To them, that's a meaningful game, because you know, Milwaukee is pretty much going to be in your way if you're going to get out the East. But when they play against like a Washington, I think they lost to them not too long ago, the Wizards, or any lesser opponent, they see like they just don't show up sometimes. So and Joel Embiid been a little inconsistent this year. But to me, what Philly is, what's going to hurt them is, like I said, I just still think they're shooting. I still think I think that JJ Redick, him moving on, I think was a big loss. You know, even though it's not talked about much. But they got the talent, so they still gonna be around. But I just wanted to throw them out there. But other than that, in the East, to me, no real huge surprises. Like I said, other than Miami, like, to me, even though I don't think that's a huge surprise, I just think the collective talent, you would think they would be able to win this series. You think it would take a little bit of time, but they got it together. So Raptors as well. Gotta give a shout out to the Raptors. They still pushing it without Kawhi. Siakam seemed like he deserved this money. He's playing well, even though I think he's been in and out the lineup lately. But other than that, every day's rolling like it should roll in the NBA. So season continues. Like I said, nobody don't really start thinking about the NBA till after the Super Bowl. You know, that it'd be close to, but really much after the All-Star break, which would be around that time. So, but you know, I talk about the NBA every week. You know, some teams I probably just, when I have a thought on them, I probably just talk about them. So let's go ahead and move on to the NFL. The NFL Wildcard Weekend starts this afternoon, as the Buffalo Bills will go to Houston to face the Houston Texans. That's the 5-4 matchup. And then tonight, the 6-seeded Tennessee Titans will go against the New England Patriots, which is the 3rd seed. They missed out on the bye last week with the loss to the Dolphins. And I broke it down by conferences, but actually both conferences got their own day. AFC today, 4:30 and 8, and then NFC tomorrow, 1 o'clock for 4:30. Basically, it's that second game. The first game, Minnesota and New Orleans at 1. That's 6 against 3, and then Seattle 5th seed against the Philadelphia Eagles, who are the 4th seed at 9 and 7 with 1 NFC East over the Dallas Cowboys, which Jason Garrett was pretty much let go. It's still, I mean, it's official that they said he's not going to come back, but now it's here reports that the door is still open. They might change their mind and bring them back, so we'll see how that unfolds. We'll talk about that. Let's get the games out the way, then we'll touch on some side notes off the field. But let's talk about the games on the field. Let's start with the first game of the weekend. The Buffalo Bills at the Houston Texans. Buffalo 5 seed, 10-6. Houston also finished the season at 10-6. They are 3-point favorite in this game. To me, this is the toughest game to pick, because I think Buffalo is capable of going in Houston and winning this game. Josh Allen definitely improved from year 1 to year 2. Bills defense was number 1 in the league. But J.J. Watt comes back for Houston today. He's going to try to go. He's been out all year. But to me, these two teams pretty much evenly matched. But to me, the difference is the quarterbacks. When the teams are evenly matched, I look at the quarterbacks. And right now, I have to say I like Deshaun Watson a little bit more than Josh Allen. So I think I'm going to go with Houston in this game. It's going to be close. 3 points is a very fair spread. I think it'll be about 3 point, probably a last-second field goal or a late field goal or something. I think Houston will move on and win this game. But I think Buffalo will get them everything they can handle. To me, just not enough playmakers. John Brown, speedy receiver for the Bills. Maybe have to make a big play or two and get that running game. Josh Allen could run a read option. Hopefully he gets some plays going as well. But other than that, I think Houston, they got to get DeAndre Hopkins the ball, and Watson, they got to protect Watson. That's what's been their problem since they drafted him. Can they protect him? Can he stand in the pocket and make throws and make plays? Will Fuller, I think he's supposed to play today, so he probably had to be a big factor as well. I think Houston just a little bit better than the Bills, and they're at home. I think they should win this game. So I'm going to go with Houston in that first game. And like I said, you can see all my predictions on my last episode, which I recorded on Monday, the NFL playoff preview special for all my predictions. But I'm just going to pick these games for this week. So let's move on to Tennessee, New England. Probably most intriguing game of the weekend, because I say the experts is 50-50. I think some people really think the Titans can go up there and win. Which I can't blame people. I can't argue to have that thought, because the Patriots haven't looked that great. Like I said, they just lost to the Dolphins last weekend, knowing they had a chance to get a bye, and that slipped away, so that's why they played in this game. Tennessee has been hot since they made the move to Tannehill. Tannehill was 8-3 as a starter, best pass rating in the league this season. Derrick Henry, monster running back from Alabama. Monster, he finished 1,500 yards on the ground. So I can see Tennessee. I can see it happening. Tennessee going up there and winning this game, but just can't be that one. I can't do it. I can't go against the Patriots till they lose. I've done it before. I was, like I said, I think I said this in my the last episode about the NFL playoffs, that I was a Patriot doubter when they kept missing, kept not getting to the Super Bowl. That 10-year run, they ain't make it, and now they had this resurgence in this decade, even though this decade just ended. Merity now a 6-time champ. I just can't. I mean, when I doubted them, they proved me wrong. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just ride them until they lose. So, but I think they get by this game for sure. Now next week, I don't know. I think because if they win, they have to play Kansas City. It's already set in stone because they're the 3 seed. If Tennessee wins, they go to Baltimore next week and play the Ravens. So both teams already know who their next opponent is if they win the game. But I don't see them beating Kansas City, even though that's already jumping through the day. It depends on how they look. I might change my mind on that, but right now I just think they definitely gonna get by. Can't say definitely, but I don't see them losing the first round. I think they'll win this game. So I'm gonna go with the Patriots. They're a 5-point favorite. I think it might be a little closer game than that. So let's move on to the NFC and to Sunday. 1 o'clock, Minnesota 6 seed against the 3 seeded New Orleans Saints. This is probably the most sure game, I think, of the weekend. I don't see nobody picking Minnesota, which makes me nervous. With everybody leaning one way, sometimes stuff happens. But I think Minnesota, like I said, they have the talent to do it. I wouldn't be shocked if they went to New Orleans, and I just don't see it happening. The jury's out on Kirk Cousins. Could he win the big game? This is the biggest game of his career, easily. Dalvin Cook, he's a little banged up. Will he be ready to go? I think he will be. Thielen and Diggs. So they have the talent. The defense is not bad. But I think the Saints is like that destiny team. I think I said this in my preview special as well. They've been on the doorstep. They got screwed pretty much. Well, last year they got screwed for sure. But this is the rematch of the Minnesota Miracle, which was 2 years ago when Minnesota went at home and Stephon Diggs, speaking of Diggs, caught that pass and the safety. Don't know what he was thinking. Tried to hit him, missed, and he ran all the way to the end zone on the last play of the game. And that's how New Orleans was eliminated the year before. And last year, what happened with the Rams, the non-call on the pass in the first call. But I think, like I said, I had the Saints getting all the way to the Super Bowl, so of course I'm going to pick them here. But I think Drew Brees is on a mission. Michael Thomas going to get things done. Antonio Brown could be here. Well, people said they wasn't going to sign him this year anyway. They just wanted to work him out for next year. But I got excited when I heard that news that he could, potentially be with the Saints. But again, he's running his mouth on social media and all that stuff again. And who knows if he's going to get a job. At least this year he's not getting a job. That's a given. But for next season, and I think the more this investigation's dragging out, I don't think, I'm just guessing they not found it too much or nothing. Or something would have came out by now. But we could be wrong. But Antonio Brown just a nutcase. But anyway, back to the game. I think New Orleans will win this game by probably. I didn't write the spreads down for this. But I think they win the game. Just say by about 10 points. Minnesota, like I said, I don't think they should blow things up. They talk about firing Zimmer if they lose this game, and maybe that's a good move. I don't know, Or they said Zimmer could go to the Cowboys, but I think they need to focus on this game for one, and worry about it if they don't win the game. But I got New Orleans winning though at home. So the final game of the weekend, the 5th seeded Seattle Seahawks will go to Philadelphia to face Philadelphia Eagles, because Seahawks was just a goal line away from having a bye. Oh no, they wouldn't have had the rest. Right, they couldn't get the bye. They would have been the 3rd seed, and San Francisco would have been the 5th seed. So San Francisco would have been playing in this game, and Seattle would have been playing Minnesota instead at home. and New Orleans would have got that second bye. I mean, would have got the. I think they would have been the #1 seed. I think Green Bay would have been 2. But anyway, so it is what it is now. Seattle got on the road to face Philadelphia, but Seattle been kind of backwards this year. Usually Seattle's real good at home, but they haven't been that great at home. They've been good on the road, and I think they will go to Philadelphia with this. I think the Eagles got too many injuries. Carson Wentz, I think, like I said, gonna have to do too much. Zach Ertz, I don't think it's gonna be ready. Alshon Jeffrey is still out. Deshaun Jackson will still be out, and the other receiver, either Davis. Well, basically, all got the receivers. Let's just put it that way. But the running game has came on. I watched Philadelphia the last couple of weeks, you know, because they've been having to pretty much went out to get to this point. But I just think the injuries going to catch up to them. I think Seattle, just too talented. I think they'll take advantage of the secondary being depleted as well. Russell Wilson, I believe in Russell Wilson as well. That's a big reason why I forget Seattle in this game as well. And they'll be capable of winning next week, because that means it's a matchup with San Francisco if everything goes the way I think it's going to go. And they beat them this year in San Francisco, so that's going to be a very intriguing game next week. But I think they'll win this game this week. I think Philly, though, will make it a game, but I got Seattle winning. So the recap picks, I got Houston over Buffalo and New England over Tennessee. So that means New England will play Kansas City next week if that holds, and Houston will go to Baltimore next week for the divisionals. And then in the NFC, I got the Saints beating the Vikings at home. I think that means the Saints will go to Green Bay, and that means Seattle, if they beat Philadelphia, which I think they will play the 49ers once again for the 3rd time this season. Alright, so that's it for the NFL. Hopefully it'll be some good games, good competitive games this weekend. 2 games today, 2 games tomorrow. All on the various networks, Fox, NBC, CBS. So check it all out. ABC, actually got ESPN and ABC. Got the first game after the Bills Texas game. So check it all out. NFL action this weekend. So I'm just gonna wrap up the blog now. Give you some of my final thoughts. College football, LSU. See how dominant they was against Oklahoma. So they in that championship game against Clemson, who to me has been kind of like, I don't want to say skating by, but they haven't looked as dominant. But they still undefeated. They still here, and will have a chance to defend their championship. So it'll be LSU Clemson next Monday, January 13th, which is kind of weird. It's almost basically 2 weeks from when they're gonna play again. It's gonna be more than 2 weeks, because they play Saturday and it's Saturday again, so it's gonna be another Saturday. So yeah, it's gonna be about 2 weeks and a couple of days from this game to the next. So but I think I got LSU winning. I'll probably talk more about it as the game gets closer, but right now I have to go with LSU if I had to choose who will win that game. Joe Burrow will probably be the #1 pick. I think Trevor Lawrence, I think he's eligible to go to the draft. I might be wrong. I don't know if it's after you're a sophomore you get to leave, or it's your junior year. I gotta check that. But Cincinnati got the first pick. Burrow is from Ohio, so a lot of people are thinking they just gonna go ahead and take him with the #1 pick. But if Lawrence come out, that'd be interesting. Tua for Alabama, he's still wrestling. Well, he's supposed to make a decision on Monday, so we'll know about that next week, and I'll probably talk about that a little bit. Other than that, as far as the sports world, that's pretty much the biggest things going on. Let's talk about the channel. Like I said, I'm back. I'm gonna be on here normally every Saturday. I'll be here, give you my thoughts on the sports world throughout the week, what happened during the week. So I'm back. I'll try to be back permanently. Like I said, I thank everybody for being patient and staying along with me since I've been out. New content. With the video game playthroughs, like I said, I got 2 projects in mind. Kakarot, Dragon Ball Z, supposed to come out I think the 17th, but I probably won't be able to get it probably until 3-4 days after that. But that's the newest project I want to do, and also the Outer Worlds, even though Outer Worlds been out for a couple of months. But that's a game I'm interested in. So there are 2 games right there, 2 projects I'm gonna work on. Like I said, I got a lot of other projects I'm thinking about. Resident Evil 3 announced they making a remake. I think it's supposed to come out in the spring, I think. So that's something else to look out towards this year. Games from last year I did get to play Days Gone, and also Rage 2. I like the first Rage. So there are 2 other games right there. So there's a lot of games I want to get on the channel. If I get those, I will. Mortal Kombat 11, I played that. I think I mentioned that, but I'm not playing it right now, so I'm just going to go ahead and just let that die, unless I get the itch to play it again. But I wanted to put that on the channel because I left around the time that I got it. Yeah, so I'm back. I plan on staying back. Like I said, I just needed a mental break. Just was dealing with a lot with work and just things in my personal life. Like I said, I lost my mother. It's now been about a month, and been about 5 weeks, 6 weeks to be exact. And I don't know, it's been a little rough, a little rough for me. Like I've been telling people that's close to me, like it's really, I still feel like she's here. Like I think I'm still a little bit denial about it, a little numb about it, and that's what bothers me. Like it makes me, like even now talking about it makes me feel like, I just don't know how I feel right now, even though it's been that long. And I try not to talk about my personal problems too much, especially on this part of the channel, the sports blog part of the channel. I had a channel. I still had the channel up, the Open Book with Troy West. That's the channel where I sort of like chronicalize my depression and things like that, which I'm still dealing with on a day-to-day basis. But I guess I'm just not thinking too negative. I'm just tired of people say I guess I don't like to use people's names because I don't unless I talked to the person before I was doing to do this. I don't like to use names. But people basically saying they say I should talk more, but then when I talk, I feel like nobody really listens, you know what I mean? Or they say they tired of me saying the same thing, which I might be saying the same thing over and over again, not denying that. But it's just hard. So it's like I keep a lot of stuff in, even though I talk, I still keep a lot of feelings in, a lot of my true feelings inside. And it's hard. So I've just been dealing with that. Even before my mom passed, just dealing with personal things, like work, my work situation, my situation period, just been stressful a little bit. So that's why I had to step away just to try to get things right, but it didn't help. So I think me doing this again is going to help me. This is a positive thing that I do, maybe to keep my mind positive for the most part. So that's my goal. So that's why I decided to come back. But like I said, I thank there's people that's been in my corner. I thank the people, they know who they are, and I appreciate them a lot. And even though they might not think I do a lot, but I do. I still have my moments. I still break down a little bit sometimes, but I'm gonna keep on pushing. And I got a little bit of a fire in me, so I'm just gonna try to roll with it. Hopefully, I get some things accomplished this year. Like I said, the last few years has been rough for me, man. The last 3 years, really. And just trying to make it, man. Just to be honest, just to be blatantly honest about it. So, with that being said, I'm gonna try to, like I said, I'll be here every week. That's my plan. Like anything can happen. I'm not gonna I don't like making promises anyway, but I'm not gonna make no promise. I could pull the plug at any time, but I don't plan on to. I feel like this is helping me with my mental state and me staying positive. So, but other than that, I just hope y'all enjoy, hear me talk, get my thoughts on sports and anything else, And like I said, feel free to leave comments below, even if it's not even just about sports. If you just want to ask me anything about myself or If you got a question, you know, how I dealt with this, how you dealt with that, because, you know, I don't mind sharing information with people, you know. But that being said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the blog. I want to say thank everybody for joining me. I'll be back next Saturday. This week coming up, like I said, the NFL Playoffs is today, so we'll know what the divisional round matchups are. I'll preview that next week for sure. Look at some NBA stuff. If anything happened in Major League Baseball, I'll touch on that. And thank everybody for being so supportive. Crash Team Racing, I forgot to mention that, doing project on that right now. And also Call of Duty Modern Warfare. They are two things, videos you'll see, two games you'll see within the next few weeks, either a few days. I might do a few videos today. So like I said, I appreciate all y'all support. And I thank you guys for hanging in there with me. And I'm going to keep on fighting as much as I can. I'm Troy West said thank you. Enjoy your weekend. Happy New Year to y'all. And thanks so much. Thank you. I'll see you next time.